Ladies and gents, welcome back to another live stream. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Today is a Thursday evening and we are coming to you live right now talking about some crypto news and things that are going on within the market. We've been getting some interesting reports and articles. First things first, we got to talk about what is going on over in Ukraine, because right now that is still having a lot of play and influence within major markets right now. We're also going to be talking about the SEC because they do want to get their fingers into the NFT market, what that means for us investors. And we're also going to be talking about overall what we're seeing right now within all altcoins and what is going on with Bitcoin. If you guys are enjoying these updates, do me a favor, drop a like down below. That really does help out this channel. And let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Over here in Maryland, it is dark outside and it's a little bit of a later time. It's 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time today. First things first, the global crypto market cap for today, ladies and gents, is sitting at $1.83 trillion. Let me get this squeezed in right here. If you guys didn't see or didn't experience the pump this week, that has been absolutely marvelous. A lot of the cryptocurrencies are still in the green in the last 7 days, but you'll notice that even on days like today, Bitcoin is having a little bit of a pullback. Also, big shout out to my boy Humphrey Yang if he's still in here. Bitcoin is currently sitting at $41,446. It is still above the previous support level that we were able to create. And a lot of the I would say a lot of the sentiment that has been positive just in the past 3 days has really come from the spike that we did see with Bitcoin, just because it has been a pretty tough few months. If we pull it back to the 3 month, you'll notice that even though we were hitting some near good numbers with everything rallying before this start of the year, when we did have those initial few drops in the market, it really did bring down the sentiment. Going into the Crypto Fear and Greed Index today, you will notice that we are seeing a bunch of fear all around in the market, even though we did experience a few good days. I know today, on a day like this, you may be asking yourself, how come we are now seeing the price of Bitcoin going down? This is just going to be a realization of people taking in those profits. So that is, anytime we see anyone entering the bottom or buying up those dips, you do want to make sure you take profits along the way. When we see a giant recourse of people doing that at the same time, or just over time, that is when we get a little bit of red candles pulling us back to the downside. But good news is we are still well above $41,000 at the time of filming today's live stream. The global crypto market cap is sitting at $1.83 trillion. And in terms of any new news, there hasn't been anything that has changed drastically. We did have the State of the Union conference with the Biden administration yesterday, and we'll be talking a little bit more about what we saw from there, other than Nancy Pelosi doing some funny things with their hands. Did y'all see that meme? Pelosi, I don't know what she was doing with her hands. She was like standing up. She became a meme overnight with that. But moving forward, let's talk about some altcoins. Ethereum has been trailing a little bit behind Bitcoin, which is pretty unusual. Anytime we do see rallies with Bitcoin, we do usually see Ethereum doing very similar things where it is going up even more in price. Now, we are still seeing a ton of volume going into stable coins like USDT Tether, which is currently getting a volume of $60 billion compared to, let's say, Bitcoin, which is only at $27 billion, about half of the amount of money that we're still seeing in terms of volume going into the stable coins. Going through many altcoins, you will notice that although many things are reflecting the price action that we're seeing with Bitcoin, they are still in the green. Binance token is up 7% in the last 7 days still. XRP is still up about 4%. We still have Terra Luna doing amazing things, up 36%. And we're also going to be talking about one of Terra Luna's protocols, which is going to be Anchor, and some news that they talked about, because Anchor also had a pretty solid pump today. So let's actually type this in and see if we can get the token coming up. ANC. And you'll notice that they're currently at $4.68 right now in the last 7 days, having an amazing pull up. And we'll be talking about some other altcoins that you could also be looking at. With the title of today's video, what's next for crypto investors sell? This is something we're just going to go into as we progress through this video. So make sure you guys stay tuned if you really don't know what the move right now to make within this market is, because I know it gets a little funky and I know it can really be confusing for a lot of new investors during this time. So we'll just be breaking down some basics and investor etiquette that you should at least have locked down so you have a better idea on what we should be doing during this time. On top of that, just taking a look at some other altcoins listed on the market, Terra Luna, in terms of price, $91, still a solid price right now in terms of the gains that you would have made. I don't know if this would be a good buy entry right now, just because we do pull it back to the all-time charts. It is still pretty close to the previous all-time high. And anytime we do get hard rallies, we do see a collection of profits coming in from other investors, which pull the price down. And that is oftentimes when you'd want to buy back in. You don't want to be buying back at the top. On top of that, Cardano still under $1 right now. We got Solana back at $91.80. Same price action as Terra Luna, but as you guys know, prices for crypto does not reflect the actual price. It's not the same form of metric like many people would compare the stock market to, just because supply is always circulating and you can actually gauge and change the amount that you have, which will change the actual price token. That is why when you take a look at other cryptocurrencies, just for any of our new beginners, you'll notice Cardano's is at 87 cents. But then we have, scrolling down, like Wrapped Bitcoin as an example. Maybe that makes it more confusing. Or Cosmos is at $33.51 and it has less of a market cap. It is just because based on how they choose the economics of their token, which is also called tokenomics. And this is just going to give us, the price action or the price volatility or the numbers that we actually see with the token itself, which doesn't reflect the number that you would see in comparison to the stock market. Moving down, we did get some interesting news about Dogecoin. There is Ukraine talking about how they would be accepting that in forms of tokens. So going to this article right here, Ukraine expands crypto donations to accept Dogecoin. The dog-themed meme coin joins Bitcoin, Ether, USDT, Sol, and DOT as cryptocurrencies currently accepted by Ukraine. And this actually came out from the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine, Mikhailo Fedorov, and he stated Dogecoin exceeded Russian ruble in value. I think it's a little bit of shade right there too. We start to accept donations in meme coin. He then states now even meme can support our army and save lives from Russian invaders. Doge owners of the world, Elon Musk, Billy M2K, let's do it, official Doge wallet, and then they listed right here. So Ukraine has actually been getting a ton of donations over the past few days. When we did last make our live stream, it was around $12 million. It has gone up more significantly than that. And we actually did get even more word that Ukraine was going to do an airdrop giving back crypto to the people. But instead, they did go ahead and announce they were going to cancel the airdrop and they're going to actually issue an NFT. Craig Andrus, thank you so much for the dono. Thoughts on Kadena? I believe that's KDA. Let's talk about the questions and stuff towards the end of this live stream. I'm gonna get through these articles first, but I'll make sure I remember that one, Craig, or I hope I do. I'm gonna have it locked in here, all right? So going into a bit more of this article, if you guys didn't know, right now a lot of people from Ukraine are fleeing the country. It is reported that over 1 million people have left. I went on Airbnb this morning or this afternoon, and they even have some campaigns. Oh, here it is. It's actually already in the news. Let's pull up this article. Let's see. I think it's better to go on Airbnb's website instead. Ukraine Airbnbs receive bookings in effort to get money to residents. That is interesting, but that is alongside not what we were looking for. It's right here. So Airbnb has stated help house 100,000 refugees fleeing Ukraine. And right now, you can basically offer stays for free at a discount through Airbnb.org or donate to help our funding stretch further. They state your support makes a difference. Airbnb is funding short-term housing for up to 100,000 people. We support our refugee guests regardless of nationality, race, ethnicity, or how they identify. And this is just showing a lot of the companies that are uniting together. And this does also open up the conversation. Well, what is going on with NATO? What is actually going on with organizations that have been created in order to really help Ukraine, other than playing more the defensive, seeing what they can do as companies, because you still have limitations on the extent of help that you can offer. This is going to go into the next article that I want to talk about here, and this is going to be NATO's response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Something that I know a lot of you guys are wondering is, if Russia is currently coming after Ukraine, they're still active in their invasion. I believe it's week 2 right now. How come NATO, one of the alliance partners, which is meant to protect countries during situations like this, how come they haven't stepped in, and why aren't they still not doing anything when it looks like a majority of the world is against what Russia is still doing? So a lot of this comes down to what the NATO treaty entails, and this actually breaks it down with some easy FAQs that go through it. So first of all, what are NATO and allies doing to help Ukraine? NATO is helping to coordinate Ukraine's request for assistance and is supporting allies in the delivery of humanitarian, come on, BJ, and non-lethal aid. Individual NATO member countries are sending weapons, ammunition, medical supplies, and other vital military equipment to Ukraine. Dang, your boy needs a sip of water, yo. Let me get some water real quick. Got no water out here. Got some old matcha. Brian Jung, can you read without messing up for the people? Can you do that? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, my initials are BJ, man. Yeah, so Ukraine is not part of NATO. That treaty did not fully go through just because Ukraine's president, before the one that we have right now, was under Putin's reign. So there were so many protests going on, and just catching up on the history of everything that we saw. I think Vice made the best video explaining this right now. So if you guys go ahead and watch Vice's video that they put out a few days ago, I believe it's at 3 to 4 million views, just giving you all the best graphics and keeping you up to date on the history of Ukraine and NATO up until the last, I think it's a 10-minute long video, but up until the last like World War II incident that we had. But for anyone who is just asking yourself basically what the question is, how come NATO's not sending troops? We are getting a lot of reports that Ukraine is getting a lot of help from major countries. They are getting the missiles that are able to shoot down a lot of the planes, a lot of defensive equipment and weapons. But the question here, when it comes to what are NATO and allies doing to help Ukraine, they state NATO is helping to coordinate Ukraine's request for assistance and is supporting allies in the delivery of humanitarian and non-lethal aid. But this is where it's really important. NATO's actions are defensive, designed not to provoke a conflict, but to prevent a conflict. It's important to make sure that there is not an even bigger crisis in Europe, where Russia challenges. Come on. All right. I think I just got to slow down a little bit tonight. I think that's what it is, ladies and gents. Yeah, so there was a word also that there was a nuclear plant which could cause a result of just one of the more massive incidents in Ukraine right now. Let me see if I can pull it up. They did actually come out and state that the current status of that was false. So AP News came out with the article, and it actually turned out that it was not on fire. It's another administrative building, and it's not as bad as it seems. There was also reports that radiation levels in Ukraine were going up, but right now people just aren't sure. So let me just type this into Google to see if I can pull up that recent article. So 2 hours ago, nuclear plants on fire amid Russian shelling, radiation levels steady. A lot of different sources right now are reporting this, so I just think it's better to wait until tomorrow morning to see what the most accurate stories are going to be. There are some theories that Ukraine is saying that this is happening when it may not be, or Russians may not be attacking it, just so that they can get a full reason on NATO to activate and be a bit more aggressive with the protection that Ukraine should be receiving. So I do think it's going to take a little bit of time. Let me know you guys' thoughts down below on this article, or if you guys have heard about this news at all in a bit. And yes, this situation does affect crypto, and this is why we're discussing it on our channel right now. One of the last videos that I made was titled The Crypto War. And the reason why it is that is because crypto is being used on both sides. Ukraine is receiving a ton of crypto in donations in order to support their defensive needs, while at the same time, while Russia is getting strained economically, they are resorting to crypto as well in order to use decentralized peer-to-peer transactions or currencies to evade the SWIFT restrictions that got slapped on them, which is actually tanking the price of the ruble right now for Russia. So this does involve crypto. If all countries right now are going through some type of extremity, Ukraine is going on the defense where their country might even shut down, their economy might go to waste. They're going to be resorting to crypto in order to preserve that wealth, while at the same time, Russia is going to be using that, putting their money into the market, which drives the price of other assets up. So whatever happens throughout Ukraine, if you guys want to say, Brian, this is all just a giant puppeteer art thing going on right now. This is nothing. I completely disagree. I really think this is going to have an influence on what we're going to see for the rest of the year. And this is why it's so important for us to keep up to date on what we're seeing. I think even right now, because of all the incidents, things like crypto regulations that have been pushed way farther ahead into the future until a lot of this can actually get contained. In addition to that, basic central bank policy was the largest influence on the price of different assets within the market. It affected stocks, the indices, it affected crypto significantly, and that is why we saw Bitcoin taking the dip that it did. So even at a time like this, when there's so many things going out in the world, it is important to know what is happening just so that we can better time these investments or know what to do in the case that we do expect a more turbulent future. So on top of that, the SEC also said, or this article states, that they smell something fishy about the NFT market and is launching a probe. In recent months, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's legal counsels have issued summons to the NFT market creators and other crypto exchanges seeking additional information about their projects. This is led by Chairman Gary Gensler. Let me know if y'all are a fan of him, and if you love him, drop a like down below. It is also reportedly moving to investigate whether NFT developers and marketplaces are breaching securities rules, numerous news outlets disclosed on Thursday. According to reports, the regulator's main goal is to investigate it. Particular NFT tokens are being used to raise money in the same way as traditional securities are. So under the lens, they state, while crypto lending products have been at the crosshairs of regulators in the last year, this report represents a significant step forward in probing the NFT market. Just like similar to the crypto market, we really don't know what is going to get regulated. We don't know how fractional NFTs are going to get deployed. We don't know what the SEC wants to do in terms of classifying this or how it really works. If we can even declare losses within NFTs, because a majority of wins as there are within the market, I know there are people who are down on their investment. And the question is, can we still collect tax loss harvesting rules with this? When we don't have regulation, it's just very difficult. The water gets very muddy for individuals. And I think when we do get a little bit of clarity within this, not only does it help the overall crypto market, but even specifically the NFT side as well. Okay. So Federal Chairman Jerome Powell yesterday also stated, war underscores need for crypto regulation. This is relating back to what I said with how Ukraine and Russia are both using this. He's also talking about the need for this just because of everything going on in the world. He states right here, we have this burgeoning industry which has many parts to it, and there isn't a place in the kind of regulatory framework that needs to be there. The Fed chair was responding to a question about whether Russia could use cryptocurrencies to bypass sanctions. So something we just mentioned, and obviously the government is keeping an eye out on this. I think through due time, we will see the way that we can involve regulations. But they do mention a little bit here on CBDC, which is going to be a government or central bank based cryptocurrency. And I think this is something that we should keep an eye out on. Powell also said he's inclined to impose and support a 25 basis point rate hike in March. We're in March right now, so it's a few more weeks until we can get notice on what that's going to look like. I do personally still think that we are going to see volatility within the crypto market into about a week prior to the actual day of when we do get the rate hikes, which I think is very, very likely for us to see. The CME Group's FedWatch tool also showed that futures traders see a 90% chance of that quarter percentage point hike as opposed to a half percentage point, which many thought was very likely just a week ago. So it looks like the number based on how much we're going to put up those basis points has been fluctuating, and it's not going to be as high as we expected it to be before. All righty. So guys, I think that is a majority of the topics I did want to cover in today's video. Oh, a few more things. Altcoin news. Avalanche also did have some news talking about how users can now buy Polygon or BSC assets in a single transaction. Cross-chain messaging protocol Router protocol has added support for Avalanche's C-chain, allowing users to conduct transactions across various networks. This is all going to go into the principle of interoperability within crypto, so where we can see other cryptos merging together, being able to have utility amongst one another. I think this is really good for many other altcoins. And when we do get Bitcoin making another rally in the future, I do think altcoins should rip again. So I am looking to put more positions into altcoins once we get a bit more of a dip. I think the previous 1 week was confirmation that the crypto market is indeed alive. It's not this full dead bear market that everyone thought it was. Even though I do still want to think that March is going to be more volatility month, and because of this pump was just still a bit more unexpected, it seems a bit artificial to me. When we do get institutions and large whales buying up the dip, usually this is what it looks like. We don't get in a short period of time all retail investors wanting to buy up the dip singularly. This is usually when we get large positions just buying up the dip, and then after that is usually the retail spike coming in because of FOMO. So if that is the case, if we do get a correction, we do get a pull down back to maybe even half of where the previous support level was, that is still going to place us hopefully above $38,000 to $39,000. In that case, I do know that altcoins are going to pull back with it. And if you guys are more optimistic about the market, which I personally am long-term, especially for this year, that is going to be another entry point when we do get the talks of the rate hike in a few weeks in March. So I think that is going to be another opportunity if you are looking for it. Some of the most bullish cryptos, at least for this week, has definitely been Luna. Solana is one of our top picks too at $91 right now. And there is definitely way more possibilities for a lot of these altcoins to be flipping one another. What does that mean? It means they will surpass each other in market cap. So therefore, if you're able to find any undervalued altcoins, undervalued to your due diligence, you're able to find that arbitrage and make that difference and capitalize on the market gains. So if you have been taking profits and you have made money in the market, that is good. I think long term, the strategy of hodling, dollar cost averaging, which is exactly what I've been doing, especially since the last two bull markets, it's still been great. I know a lot of individuals who have tried to time the market. Some of them, it has not gone well. Some people have lost a lot of money. Generally, you would stay safe looking long term with a lot of these crypto projects. And we'll use Terra Luna just as an example because it has been talked about a lot. We did mention in today's video. In the last all time since the crypto started to boom back in 2021, you'd be up a significant amount on your investment. Now, just to wrap this video up, taking a look at DeFi Llama, we are getting a little bit less volume going to the total value locked across a lot of these layers. And if we do actually take a look at the current number, we are sitting at $202 billion at the time of filming this video. This does look like it is reflecting a bit within the markets. We haven't seen another all-time high that we did have back in December. And I hope we do get to that point, because if we do, altcoins are all going to be hitting some new all-time highs. And that is when things are going to get juicy, especially with the mid cap and high caps, which are what we're looking at right now in this play. When money does start flowing out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, going from high cap, mid caps, then the play is where I believe micro caps you can start adding in. But if you do have plans to go long and you can take volatility, a lot of the micro caps are still flattened out on the bottom, meaning you're getting some of the best entry points even right now. And I think there is no issue or problem in looking at those as viable investments during this time. Just don't make sure you're YOLOing your entire children's savings that they need next year for college. Just make sure that you are leveling yourself out and you're able to invest on money that you don't expect to see back. With that, it's going to lessen the emotions a bit, and it's going to help you significantly as an investor long term. One more article that I wanted to mention was this. A16Z is actually going ahead and investing $70 million in Ethereum staking provider Lido Finance. Lido. Venture capitalist firm Andreessen Horowitz is what A16Z is. And if you didn't know, they are one of the more reputable VC firms in the industry. And just seeing that they are willing to invest even more additional money during this time into Ethereum before they do make waves with its proof of stake upgrade, it is just showing us how bullish it is. And I do think while Ethereum is getting slept on, we are going to see another pop at some point this year. So that with that being said, I don't know if Ethereum is going to give you better gains than most altcoins in the market. I think there's still a higher upside with a lot of these other projects compared to Ethereum. And that is why we're focusing on many of the high caps here, because it just takes a few where if you get lucky with one, you can still have an amazing year with your investment. Now, to wrap this up, guys, I remember seeing the dono. I didn't forget KDA. Let's see where it's at right now. $6.90. If you're members of the jungle, you will know that I do have some positions within this crypto as well. Right now, even during this time, we haven't been getting that huge pump that we've seen earlier this year. This is one of the cryptos where I think it's more of a long-term play indefinitely. Even right now, because most altcoins are down, because Bitcoin is still stabilizing rather flat, when we do get pumps, it looks like it happens within waves. And what usually happens is when certain altcoins get picked up, they have that momentum, it ends up going extremely high in price just because we have herd mentality with a lot of investors and a lot of, whether it's trading bots or whales, making the moves and decisions. Anytime we have altcoins that had a huge spike, it shows us one, the potential that it could have had before in the past, and something else, the potential that we could experience later in the future. Even right now with a price point of $6.93, you're getting better entries that you could have had before its previous run up. So, you know, this is a crypto that I had added to my list. I think it's just going to be based on some of the news or partnerships that they have lined up in order to get a gauge on the price action we can see next. Now, let's see. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Nate, what the heck? Nate O'Brien, what are some good APY, stable APY options? Well, Nate, if you're still in here, shout out to my mans. Anchor. This is something we mentioned a little bit earlier. They are crushing it right now. ANC gained 23% over the last 24 hours. And it looks like, I think Luna is still going to be on top of that, and Anchor is pretty high on that list. We are coming out with a new video soon. It's going to be top 3 crypto passive income strategies. The main ones is going to be crypto lending, staking, and then the interest yielding accounts that you can get from, well, you can't get from BlockFi anymore, but from other companies that exist right now. In there, we'll be breaking down how you can earn yield. So say you're up maybe 10, 15% in the market, you're scared of what's going to happen next, you can put your crypto into a stable coin and still be earning interest throughout this whole year, and you'd be surprised on how much money that you can actually make back. Humphrey and Nate in here, the whole gang. You guys need to get on the live stream. I need to send you guys an invite. You guys want to come on? Let me know. Miss the boys. I am planning to have a few trips in the near future. Let me pull up my trip list, guys. So if any of you guys are going to be taking any conferences or anything like that, hopefully I run into some of my YouTube subscribers. Let me pull this up. I think I will be at Bitcoin conference. I don't know if I'm going to attend that actual conference because, to be honest, it wasn't really much of value. When I went last year, it was okay. They did hook us up with a ticket, so I'm not going to like bash them too much, but I'm not planning to. I wouldn't buy a ticket for Bitcoin conference. That's what I'll say. If they hook me up with it, I'm going to go through and I'm going to enjoy it. But I think the more valuable conferences is going to be like permissionless consensus. This is where the big boys are at. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, right? They don't allow for other altcoin projects to really be there. And even a lot of our partners that I work with, exchanges like, you know, I'm not going to name, y'all know my exchange partners that I work with. No one's really that stoked about it, but I think people are more excited for the fact that Miami is going to be a fun trip. So yeah. Humphrey says, my stream setup isn't ready right now. Next time. We'll do it next time. All right, guys. Well, listen, I appreciate y'all for tuning by. Thank you all so much again for chilling with the Jung Nation. We got some videos coming out. I will be in LA in a few days, actually. Really excited for that trip over there. Meeting with a couple friends, doing some networking, just having a good time with my girlfriend and meeting up with some fans. So it's going to be chill. It's going to be fun. If you guys did enjoy this content, check out the links down below. Don't forget to check out BlockFi. If you guys are interested in signing up for an exchange or a platform, they did get hit with the interest-bearing SEC thing, but they do still have a pretty decent platform. And if you guys want to check them out, you can still get up to $250 using my link down below in the description. On top of that, don't forget to check out the link for the Patreon if you guys want to have access to my trades, if you guys want to see my portfolio, or just see or be a part of just an amazing community and have access to other trade analysts and signalers. Check out the group link for that listed down below in the Patreon. And on top of that, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram and Twitter, link down below in the description. With all that being said, thank you all so much again for tuning by. Have an amazing night, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.